Good.
Coach, your impression after 2 days?
Impression after 2 days. Like the group. Okay. I think my expectations are a little bit more realistic, obviously, than a year ago. Not having a real good feel for the league, not having a great feel for the guys. Kind of just having a spring behind me at that point. Where now I've got that a year, and I think I think the group has a better feel for what we need to do, and I certainly have a better feel for them.
What do you mean by that, like the realistic expectations? Like what were they like last year in comparison?
Well, last year, because there were so many seniors, I kind of, I don't want to say followed their lead, but I kind of let them show me the landscape. You know what I mean? And that was probably a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I kind of went into it a little bit with the pro mentality because that's where I'd been and what I'd been doing, and especially having older guys. Thinking, nah, them dudes were pros. Them dudes were good college football players and needed to be pushed, needed to be directed, needed to be held accountable. And I'm not speaking badly of those guys. I mean, I care for, I love them. I wish them all the best. But it was a little bit of, again, kind of, following their lead and then trying to lead from there. I know what to expect now. So, yeah, so I know the direction that obviously Coach Mullen and Coach Grantham want the front to go. I have a better feel for the best way to get the front to be the most effective within the scheme of this defense, within the scheme of this program.
So that being the case, how are you different in the meeting room now than you were last year?
Giving them a little bit more of what they need, just in general. Kind of going back through the ABCs. Understanding that they are young kids. Not taking anything for granted in terms of what they know. I assume they know nothing, and that's one of the things I learned that's a little closer to that than the other. You know what I mean? So being able to take that back a little bit. I mean, we didn't play very well last year, but fortunately this is a new year, and I'm excited about the new challenge with the new group. That's again the other good thing about losing a bunch of seniors. You got a new group that you're counting on, and we learned a little bit of what to do and what not to do. The players learned that, and so did I, to be honest with you, from the group that left, and I think we'll be stronger because of it.
Jeffrey was looking forward to having Kobe out there to help him out. What have you seen over the last couple of days that'll show you?
Yeah, I don't know that. I think Kobe's kind of trying to find his own way. Hey, the best way for him to be effective, and with Kobe, it always starts with hard work. Momentum, intensity, effort, that kind of thing, and then trying to play within his skill set. Jeffrey, kind of the same. I don't necessarily think one's helping out the other. I like them both as leaders, as young leaders, because they both work very hard. Okay, and now they're able to step up without any obstacles. Because there's really, there's no seniors in me. Okay, I mean, we've got some other guys that have been around, but those young guys have followed so many older guys that now they're kind of figuring out how to lead too. You know what I mean? Because they've been followers for so long. So now it's a personality thing. Whoever's the alpha dog, and whoever leads the best by working the hardest and doing things the way we want to do it, fast, physical, and aggressive. Those are the guys that are going to lead the group, and I think the whole group recognizes that. Now, you ask me who that's going to be, we'll see. I can tell you who it's been to this point, but I won't. All right, but we'll see. We'll see how it is at the end of it.
Going back to that dynamic in the meeting room, might there be a new on-field identity for this unit because of that? Might it translate to the field differently?
Well, we always wanted to play hard and fast. You know what I mean? That's how defensive lines played everywhere I've been, college, pro. Heck, that 1 year I coached high school ball. I told those guys to play hard and fast. So that's how effective defensive line is played. So from that standpoint, I don't know that there'll be an identity change. I think just the methodology of getting them to do that. From my standpoint, the demands I put on them, and then them holding themselves accountable to what those demands are, I think that'll be the change. So hopefully it'll result in a more positive manner.
You had a newcomer in Dion Pope leave the program. How does that affect the depth of the group that you have?
Next guy up. So.
So you feel like you have enough depth?
Oh yeah, we got guys. Yeah, we got guys. Yeah, so that's not a problem.
Well, speaking of your reinforcements as junior college guys, how have they kind of acclimated this fall?
Good. I thought they had a good winter. I thought they had a good spring, and they're coming right in the fall. Some of them a little further ahead than others because they're probably a little better football players, all along. So those guys have kind of stayed in that direction. The other guys are trying to catch up. So, I feel okay with our depth. I mean, ideally what you want to have is you want to have a group that when the first group is out, the next group comes in. Obviously, they're not as good as the first group, but the drop-off isn't very significant. You know what I mean? And then, like I told those guys, and heck, I've even told some recruits, I'm going to play everybody that can help us win. So the more guys we can get to that level that can help us win games, the better off as a front we are. I don't think we have a, dynamic player up there that's just going to take over a game by himself. But I do feel like as a group, if we can get everybody playing fast, physical, and aggressive, then we'll be a pretty good defensive line.
How have you seen Jeffrey come from last year, this year, training camp to this?
I tell you what, Jeffrey did as good a job as I could have hoped for in his off-season conditioning. He's a little trimmer, okay. He's a little bit leaner from a standpoint of his muscle mass. So he hasn't got significantly lighter, okay. All right, but he has gotten a lot stronger, believe it or not, okay, because his core and his body's a lot trimmer, and now he's able to bend. And he's moving with a little bit more athleticism than he had, last year as a freshman. He was a big mauler before, and I think power is still going to be his game. But because of the way he worked in the offseason, he's got a little better movement than he had.
He seems to take leadership pretty seriously.
Yes.
I mean, how is he different off the field from what he was in the fall now?
Well, I mean, he was a true freshman before, and he was a true freshman in a room with redshirt seniors. You know what I mean? So he was a little bit like me. He was looking at those guys, and saying, okay, how are we doing? I was looking at those guys to kind of figure out, how Coach Mullen did it, and because he's had so much success before, and those guys have been in the program for so long, and Jeffrey kind of the same way. And I think that's kind of what it was. But, him like myself, we've kind of learned what to do, good and bad, okay, from some things we learned last year as an entire group.
So what is Jeffrey like as a leader?
I think he's a strong leader because he's a good player and he works hard. It goes back to what I said before. Leaders lead by example. Leaders are guys that can hold themselves accountable for what they do on the field, production-wise, but also for their preparation. Attention to detail, not only on the field but off the field. Okay, he is a guy that absolutely hates to be wrong, almost to a fault. Really, I mean, he hates to be wrong. You say, okay, why does he do things so diligently? Why? Because I think he just absolutely hates to fail. You know what I mean? I mean, some guys love to win. He hates to fail. All right. At the end, the result's the same. But he just, he ain't getting beat by anybody. That's just his mentality. He's gonna do whatever he's got to do that. And the part of the maturation is, at times that's going to happen. At times you're going to be wrong, and at times you're going to get beat. Now, don't get defensive. Don't get withdrawn. Hey, just get your energy back up. Get excited. Let's go. And take that approach and move on to the next down. And I think he's learning to do that. That's where I've seen the maturation in him. Other than the physical thing that we talked about in terms of his off season is just him handling adverse circumstances.
Any more questions for Coach?